What's up, everybody, man? It's your host with your most, your boy Dub Q is in the building. Man, make no mistake about it. You are at the Black Cat Panther podcast, man. Look, it's time for the experience. Let's get into it. If we get into it, as you see at the topic of this video, is the offense. We're going to predict what offense the Carolina Panthers could be potentially running this season. And I'm loving it because this is where we really get the bread and butter of what we're going to potentially be doing. And let's get into it, man. Look, the play style is here. What does Bryce Young do best? He's an advanced processor inside and outside of the pocket. And so for a guy like that, we're going to have to adjust a scheme to him. So with that being said, Frank Wright is probably one of the best when it comes to creating offenses. You saw what he did with Doug Peterson and the crew up there in Philly. We're going to play to the strengths of the Panthers offense. That's why they went out and got Miles Sanders, because you wanted to have a strong run game for anybody that potentially is going to become there. You're going to make the quarterback as comfortable as possible. So I expect them to lean into multiple run games as well as quick hit and play action calls, concepts in the middle of the field, a lot of stuff to get Young outside of the pocket and really get him open, get some of those receivers open. So I really think that we're going to take a more approach into what Frank Wright did in his 2020 offense back when he had Phillip Rivers up and under center, man. You know, it would be really, really, really nice to see some of that. He had a 39-year-old Phillip Rivers, and he did a lot of shotgun game with a lot of RPOs, such as, because they did have, an elite running game back then too. So it was on the cusp of taking off. And, he didn't have to do much with Phillip Rivers there. And so it was pretty good to see. So we expect them to attack the middle of the field. For shorter quarterbacks, you want to avoid the middle of the field most of the time. But, Young has shown that he has the ability to throw with anticipation. That's the number one thing with Bryce Young. He can throw with anticipation. And he really can excel through the middle. I mean, think about it. They got weapons, bruh. I know. You guys are going to say, Q, you were hard on some of those weapons. But that's because I was wanting the Carolina Panthers to go out and make sure that they had an insurance policy. But make no mistake about it, Adam Thielen is a big target. I love what I potentially see from DJ Chark, which we don't know. It's the unknown with him. Of him being on a 1-year, $5 million deal. He's on a prove it deal. So I believe that anything that he does this year, they're going to move on from him anyway, because they went out and they drafted Jonathan Mingo, and then you have Terrence Marshall Jr. right there. So those two guys can be easily big target receivers. And then, like I said, if you put Thielen in the slot, you put Terrence Marshall and DJ Chark and Mingo, whichever one you want to do interchangeable on the outside, you have pretty much a good receiving core that you can get the ball to. And in open space, these guys can make plays, man. I think the thing that we love about the pickup with Jonathan Mingo is he reminds us so much of Brown up there in Philly. He reminds us so much of what we lost in DJ Moore. He reminds us so much of a guy that can, once he touched the football, he gets that yak, that yards after the catch. And I believe that anybody else in our receiving core, whether that's LaVisca, whether that's Shy Smith or one of those guys, they'll be battling for a position when it comes to coming up in the receiving room, but we'll see where they go from there. But this offensive line is strong enough to get us through with 𝐥𝐤𝐬 at left tackle. Left guard is Brady Christensen, but they may swing him, being that they just pick up old boy from NC State to pair beside 𝐥𝐤𝐬. That's going to be a huge addition because you get a starting caliber guard in the draft that can come out and play. And then you got center, Bozeman is sitting right there, and then you got Big Taylor Moton on the right tackle side. So I'm excited about the depth that this offensive had. Like I said, we're going to see a lot of RPOs across the field. We're going to see a lot of play actions. We now have the tight end to complete this offense and really make it vertical and stretch. So the play action is going to be real heavy between Miles Sanders and Hayden Hurst. You're going to see a lot of fakes, a lot of RPOs. I'm loving what I'm potentially seeing because it could be a dangerous offense if we have, the thought process when I say to positioning, making sure everybody gets in position and timing is going to be key, because that's the number one thing that we say that Bryce Young did the best. His anticipation of throwing people, or whenever they get to a certain spot, he can anticipate when they're going to be there. And that's a luxury to have when you have a quarterback like Bryce Young. So that's why I said I was excited for the pick. I'm excited to see where we go with this. I can see a lot of different plays when Bryce Young scrambles out and he really try to make, a downfield pass to Hayden Hurst. His big security blanket is going to be special to see, man. So I love what I'm going to get from this. If you're watching this, you should be excited as I am to see some Panther football and the potentials of a vertical offense that could come in here, have some run pass options as well, but really scheme some guys open, because we didn't see that last year with Ben McAdoo as offensive coordinator. We saw a lot of gadget plays. We saw a lot of screens. We saw a lot of misdirections, and it just didn't move the football at all. It didn't really push the pile at all. A strong run game with screens and stuff like that is very predictable. But when you got guys in here that can go across and do some damage in the slot, can do some damage on the outside, can do some damage vertically down the field, your offense can take this thing to the next level, because on any potential play, Miles Sanders can take a run and hit, his head on the banner. He can hit his head in the end zone. Look, any potential play, if they fake these guys out of their shoes when it comes to, potentially trying to do a little bit of the play action, oh my God, it could be dangerous to see. And like I said, I can't wait to see, the red zone pickup that we got, which is, I call him Hayden Haas. Hayden Haas. He's a guy that's going to put them in a hearse, casket style. And I love it, because you look at what he did with Joe Burrow last year. And like I said, I think that Joe Burrow is a great quarterback, but he had so many receivers to pass that ball between Jamar Chase or Higgins and the crew over there. Like, he got a three-headed monster attack at wide receiver. Like I said, I call those guys the Legion of Doom, the Legion of Domination over there, because they got a lot of receivers, but they did not spread that ball around to Hayden Hurst like he really should have gotten it, because Hayden Hurst should have been at 800 to 1,000 yards as a receiver. He has the skill set to really get out there and perform. And I think we got him on a deal. I call this the Greg Olsen deal, where he underperformed. Well, he underperformed because of quarterback play. Well, we're going to say not because of quarterback play, but because they didn't utilize him in the offense in the correct manner. And he's going to come here and give us great production, because he has the skill set to really do so. So I'm excited to see what Hayden Hurst can do here in Carolina. And hopefully it is the Greg Olsen effect, because we all know at the Bears, you go from 300 to 500 yards to being 1,000-yard receiver at Carolina with Cam Newton. That was dope. Look, make no mistake about it. The Carolina Panthers offense is going to be taken off in this season. Are you ready and prepared? Are you going to have your jerseys ready right now? Because we're going to be calling the names. Bryce Young, touchdown. We're going to be seeing a lot of that this season, man. So I project for Bryce Young, be it as it may, right now they have Andy Dalton as the starter, but I believe that he will come in game maybe week 2 and potentially be ready, or he may be ready to start by week 1. I think, after the camp battles and the camp decisions, they may put him out there after preseason. But as it stands, I would not be surprised if Bryce Young come out and throw about 30 to 35 touchdowns, and he give us about 10 to 12 interceptions as a rookie, which he never was really high on throwing interceptions. But I believe this is the NFL. He's going to make mistakes, so you got to be ready for it. So I project him to at least get 35 touchdowns in the league this year. That should be pretty decent for a guy coming in that's number 1. Look, make no mistake about it. You are in the right place. And if you have watched this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel, man. Show that love. We are out here and we ain't going nowhere.